Ladies and gentlemen, the 1%, man, welcome back to this week's class. We're going to be talking about brand keys. However, there are some things I want to show you all because I have been talking about brand keys for years now. Last week, we talked about what is a brand and why is a brand important. This week, we're going to talk about how you begin building that brand, and that starts with your brand keys. So, number one, I'm going to read from, let me get my point right, the 10 artist commandments, where I spoke about brand keys. I actually speak about brand keys about 12 different times in the 10 artist commandments, but I'm going to read you an excerpt from that now. So where I broke down what brand keys are. And listen, if you want to go deeper, definitely go and get the book. Or you know what? I just realized you're subscribed to this, which means you can listen to the audiobook for free right now because you're a 1%er. So all my 1%ers, which is you, go ahead and listen to the audiobook. The 10 Arts Commandments is free right here on Grouped. But let me read you an excerpt from there where I talk about the brand keys, right? So here we are. In order to solidify one's brand, it is important to identify at least 3 key aspects of yourself that are a part of everything you do. I call these brand keys. I believe that everything you do has to stem from the tenets of your brand. Or a better word to use would be stem from the staple of your brand. When you are engaging in activities that are off brand, you are harming your brand. Staying true to your brand means that it is easier to find you and match you with others with the same belief systems. We talked about that last week, right? Finding those like-minded people. One of your brand keys can't be vegan and committed to saving the planet while fans see you chowing down on ribs or smoking. You have to stay true to your brand is the point that I was making there. You have to stay on brand and look for opportunities that fit your brand. The things you identify with most are the keys to building loyal audiences. For example, my brand keys, me, JR Mckee, my brand keys are entrepreneurialism, my mastery of streaming, and being a family man. My fans know me for these 3 things, and my loyal fans either have these same passions or aspire to at least one of these keys. Those are my brand keys, those 3 things I just named, right? My followers are inspired by seeing a happy family with a loving husband, wife, and children, all while being in the entertainment world, which is often hard to do. And you'll notice that everything I do is related to one of those 3 things, including writing this book. This book fits into my brand keys because it offers wisdom for aspiring artists by offering ways for artists to take control of their careers by tapping into the key ingredients needed to build successful careers. Now, once you have chosen your brand keys, everything you release should be centered around them. And that is how your audience will find you and connect with you. Stand for something and be firm in identifying your brand, always staying on brand. You may change your brand keys many times before you land on 3 things that really resonate and that you know you can live by. So what are your 3 brand keys? That was just an excerpt from the book. But yes, you can go listen to all the book. But the reason I wanted to read that, A, is because I broke down what brand keys are really well. But B, if you were here last week, which I'm sure you were, we talked about how once you build a brand and once you become an authority figure in something, you can then make products around what your authority figure in. So me being an authority figure in the music industry, guess what? The 10 Artist Commandments is one of my products. And that's what you guys are going to be able to do when you begin to build your brand. So I wanted to read you that, but I also want to show you a video that I made, and it's a part of the 90-day blueprint. If you guys haven't gotten the 90-day blueprint, you can go to the link in my bio, get the 90-day blueprint. It's basically a 90-day plan, a 90-day strategy to get you off to the races. So please feel free to go get that. But I'm going to play you an excerpt from it about brand keys. So here's the excerpt from the 90-day blueprint, and it's about brand keys. Okay, on to part 3. We know who our target audience is. We know what we want to feed our target audience, and we have our rollout. Now it's time to talk marketing. And so I want to be very candid with you guys about this because it's really about building a brand, because the brand sells product. Everything that we're doing is to sell product. Even your music is a product. You have to consider each piece of music product. Amen, JR. Amen. So when we talk about that building of a brand, it really comes down to three keys, right? So if I'm a person, an artist, an influencer, any of these things above, I'm on social media. My goal is to build a brand, and I have 3 or 4 or 5 things that are centered to my brand, because what we've learned is with every post that you make to social media, you have to be intentional. I do not post anything on my social media that does not have an intention behind it. So for me, and if you guys follow me, my 3 keys are entrepreneurship, streaming, and family. Those are the 3 cornerstones to my brand. And you know what? Now I would say, instead of streaming, which obviously I'm a master at streaming, but I would say more important, and what I'm trying to get artists to focus on, is community. So I would say my brand keys today are entrepreneurship, community, and family. But nevertheless, I digress. So everything I post, when you see a tweet, most likely that tweet is going to be centered around one of those 3 things. It's going to be centered around entrepreneurship, centered around streaming, centered around family. So what you guys have to do is take a step back and look at yourself as an artist. When you're talking about a brand, there has to be more to it than just your music. You have to think outside of music. Give you some examples. You might be heavily into sports. You might be heavily into fishing. You might be heavily into makeup. You might be heavily into hair. An artist that I work with on Alamo, Big J, she does hair. So a lot of her posts are about her doing hair. You look at Pac-Man. He calls himself Pac-Man because he's literally a mailman. This Pac-Man is an artist out of Texas you might be familiar with, that's blown up this year. So it's like you have to find those outside interests. And here's an even newer example. We all know I'm working with Manny Wells. Manny Wells is Nigerian, and he's a Black immigrant in America. A big part of his brand is his story, his being undocumented in America. So you'll see content come out often on him talking about his story, because that's a big piece of his brand. And so not only can the things you're into be a part of your brand, but your story can be a part of your brand. So him being a DACA recipient, a Black immigrant, doesn't have the freedom to travel, comes up a lot in his content because he's serving his brand. His story is one of his brand keys. Situation, I'm gonna use me as an example. Entrepreneurship, streaming, and family. Every post is intentional. So I want to give you guys sort of a diagram, of, well, let's just say a percentage. I want to give you a percentage based on how to post on your social media, because most people need this structure. So when you're talking about your social media, you want to have 60% of your posts be about lifestyle, interest, your story. Nothing makes it without a story. The story that you're telling, right? So the story is going to tie back into your brand. It's going to tie back into your keys. So 60% of your posts, so 6 out of 10 posts, needs to be about your story, lifestyle. You know what I mean? That's really what you're selling as an artist. And by the way, your lifestyle. So if you're living in an apartment and you're struggling to pay the rent, that means you need to show that. You need to document that. You need to stay true to who you are in your moment, because there are millions of people in that same situation, right? Then you want to do 20% centered around music, meaning this is me today in the studio. I'm freestyling today. Oh, here's a clip of me playing my music in the car. When you're doing this, you're bringing them into your musical world. So this is important. Like, you have to have organic clips, because the last 10% is direct marketing, meaning go check out my new music video, meaning follow me on Spotify. You know what I mean? These are direct marketing clips versus those organic clips of you doing whatever that's centered around music, right? So you're doing 60% lifestyle, interest, story. You're doing 20% music, and you're doing 10% direct marketing. So looking at this breakdown, right? Direct marketing, we talked about this. That's you stringing straight to the camera. Music, I would consider it indirect marketing. So 10% of the time, I at least want to give you, direct marketing. 20% of the time, I'm going to give you indirect marketing. And 60% of the time, I'm going to give you my other brand keys. But here's the key to that, though. Even though I'm giving you me in the gym, guess what? My song is in the video. Even though I'm giving you me cooking, guess what? My song is in the video. So 60% of the time, I'm not trying to sell you at all, but indirectly you're kind of getting sold because guess what? My song is in the video. So I will work my lifestyle content and still have my music in it as much as possible. That doesn't mean it's a rule your music always has to be in it, but 60% of the time when I'm giving you lifestyle, I'm going to try to work my music into that. The other 20%, I'm giving you indirect marketing, and at least 10% of the time, I'm making sure you know my music is out. I'm making sure you know my music is amazing. So you always want to keep that in people's faces. So I love this breakdown that I did.
So remember, this is very important. When you start to build that brand and you start to do it in this manner, you'll get way better results than if you were doing 100% like my video, 100% share my video, and you'll get way better results when those 20% organic. I was just in the studio today. I'm sharing this clip of me in the studio. Those organic posts are going to do way better than that direct marketing, but the direct marketing is important because if you follow me, you know I already preach to you guys, you have to have call to actions because fans need to know what to do. So that's the first step I want to get into you guys' brain is direct brand building. We have to be intentional with every person. So again, get your 3 keys. What are the 3 stables to who you are? Your interests, your story, your lifestyle. Those are probably the keys you want to go with. And then you have your artistry, you have that music going up, and then you have your direct marketing. Now, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about where you're going to be placing this content. The 3 main places right now is Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
And obviously add Facebook Reels to this. So Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook Reels.
Now, why are we doing this? Why are we building this marketing brand for ourselves? Because the biggest challenge is attention span. So everything that we're doing is to bring people in. We need to keep finding ways to connect our artistry, our music, and our brand to our fans. So that's why these different posts are so important, because we're looking to get them to connect with us. Why do I post my family? Because I'm looking for people who either A, have families, or B, want families. I'm building a connection. And so this is very important because I don't want some people to say, I only care about my music. You can't do it that way, because then only people who like your songs will be attracted to you. They don't know about the struggle that you went through. They don't know about, the fights you had with you and your mom. They don't know that you work at Walmart. These are the things they need to know, because there are more people who work at Walmart. There are more people who struggle with their mom. There are more people who have struggled paying the rent. So all of this, putting this out there, attracts those people. So please document everything and do it this way. But this is important because when you have that, I've told you guys before, a person can like a song and not give a fuck about the artist, versus a person loving the artist. If that artist puts out a song and they love that artist, they're going to like that song. And that's why you build a brand. Because if you can get them to buy into you, they'll buy into your products, which one of your main products is music. So again, let's go into where we're going to be posting these things. I want to give you guys the best practices of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
And if you guys want to watch the rest of that, please go ahead and get the 90-day blueprint. Here's another example. Once you have built a brand and you've shown people, okay, hey, this is what I'm interested in, this is what I'm good at. Once you've given them a reason to attract you, you then begin to give them products that match that brand. So you get the 10 hours commandments, you get the 90-day blueprint. These are products that go along with my brand as a streaming executive. They go along with my brand as an entrepreneur. That's why you build a brand, because you can now sustain your lifestyle by selling products that match your brand. Or again, you can now sell other people's products that match your brand. If somebody came to me, like Sure Mike came to me and said, hey, we want to put Sure Mike in front of your audience, guess what? Now that's another way of me gaining revenue. So that's why building a brand is so important. As an artist, you have to understand you're in this and you're building this brand to sell more than just music. Your art is amazing and it's going to take you far and it's always going to be very fulfilling. But at the end of the day, again, in order to continue doing your art, you need to find ways of making revenue. And building a brand is the first way to free yourself from a job. Now that I have a brand, I can sell product. Now that I have a brand, I can sell other people's product. I no longer have to work a 9-to-5 because I built a brand. So now I can put my art out there as well as make a living and only focus on doing my art and continuing to build my brand. That's what you want to be doing. I'm sure of it. That's how you get to the top 1%. So I'm hoping you understand why brand keys are important now. Brand keys are important for several reasons. The first reason they're important is because you need them to build a brand. So you have to figure out, what can your three brand keys be? I always tell people to start with this. What are you comfortable talking about? Because I knew streaming so well, it was easy for me to talk about streaming. What are you comfortable talking about? What are you comfortable showing? Hey, I'm very interested in this. So guess what? I'm going to make this one of my brand keys. Hey, I'm an expert in this. So guess what? I'm going to talk about it and make it one of my brand keys. You're looking for interest outside of music with a niche. Are you into sporting? Are you into gaming, fashion, food? What are you into that you can share with the people that you're comfortable sharing because you have a massive amount of experience doing this, or you're really willing to learn this. You really want to learn this. And so now I can start sharing, hey, come with me on my journey to learn how to do this. There's so many ways you can set yourself apart. It's all about being different from the competition. Building and maintaining a relationship between you and your fans comes down to you guys like-mindedness, comes down to what do you got, what can they relate to with you. That's what your three brand keys are. Three ways to get people to relate to you. That's what you're looking to do here. So I want you all to sit down. I want you all to say, okay, hey, what do I stand for? What are my morals and my principles? And is that something I'm comfortable talking about? What is my story? What what did I go through, or what am I going through that I'm comfortable talking about? Can that be a brand key? What am I good at? I'm very good at this. What am I expert at? I'm an expert at this. Can that be a brand key? What do I aspire to be? Can I take people on a journey with me to aspiring to be this? I aspire to own a hundred doors in real estate. I aspire to own 100 single family homes. Can I take people on that journey with me? That's what you're looking for. You're looking for what makes you different, what you're interested in. That's how you go about getting your brand keys. So the next time we get on live, I want all of you to have three brand keys ready. I want to hear your brand keys. I'll see you guys on the next live.